Good morning! Brought to you by request of... Do you remember who? You don't remember who? You do that so much better than I do.
No, I don't. Sorry.
Okay. Anyway, some weeks back, I did a video where we were discussing some new techniques for trying to handle the pest issues of our garden. So today, I want to, discuss with you our organic, very intensive attack back on them. And it's not 100% successful, but we've made some impacts and we're doing pretty good. And I want to show you some of the things that we're doing so that we can stay as organic as possible with our food production out here. So let's talk about a few things that you can do to try and keep the bugs down. The bugs down real well. In some cases, we're not 100% there, but we're getting there, and we've gotten it down to just a couple of techniques that are they're having success. They're having a reasonable amount of success. Nothing's perfect, and I'll explain that as we go. So there are two major approaches that we're doing in order to deal with certain insects. Now, we got multiple kinds of them. Let's talk about the ones that are the biggest issues. So we have our cucumber beetles, which are the little tiny black and yellow. You either have yellow and black stripes or polka dots on them. There's a couple varieties of them called cucumber beetles, which is interesting because they tend to be on squash more. We have what's known as the squash bugs, or squash, I don't know, beetles, maybe? I don't think they're beetles, but
They stink.
yeah, I call them stink bugs because if you touch them, they're bad. They hit the squash pretty bad too. We have the cabbage moths, and there's multiple varieties of them around the country, having grown food in different places around the United States, everywhere from Virginia to Michigan to California to Montana and here in Arkansas. There always seems to be a cabbage moth around, or a particular variety of moth or caterpillar that really likes all the brassicas. So it's not just cabbage, it gets them all. There's those, and at this time of the year, the big one is the June bugs, which are a big beetle, and the Japanese beetle. Let's talk about our strike back on those dudes first, because that's the easiest one. It's a little bit, I don't know if it's any more time consuming than the other, but basically what you have is the beetles throughout the year generally live in the soil, and they're the grubs. So if you're ever digging around in the dirt and you come up with a grub, that's some form of beetle or another. Under our firewood, we get the big monster grubs that'll be about that big, and those turn into those big black beetles. Great for the chickens. Whenever we're getting through the firewood and stuff, we always feed them to the chickens because they eat up our firewood. And the same thing goes for the little ones, for the Japanese beetles and the June bugs. But spraying anything hasn't really done anything. So and we'll get to a little bit more of it, one of the things that we use, you can zoom in here, is our neem oil. Now, I'll explain the neem oil a little bit better, but the neem oil in deterrence of the beetles has not been as successful. Really didn't make a huge impact on it. We even tried spraying the entire plum trees that we have out here, and they did not seem to care. They continued to eat on the leaves, and it didn't stop them. So the best way to do that is an old technique, and many of you probably already know this, is to get an old can, and you can you get down in there and see it? So
No, it's pretty dark. I can't really. Oh, there. I can see a few with the.
All right,
tilt.
so There's a bunch of them in here. Last night T did her rounds, and so you put a little bit of gas in here. Come on down here.
Oh, it was Mittens.
Mittens. Sorry there, little one. So let's see if we can do this. There's one up there, but it's a hard to reach one. Let me see if I can find one that's easier to reach. The times you want to do this is going to be, you see one? Oh, there. See, there's two of them copulating on my plant. All right, so the times you want to do this is early morning or late evening. They just tend to chill out right there. You're going to find them copulating like this like crazy, but you
Those
get
are Japanese beetles.
These are the Japanese beetles. You get up here, and they're, if you don't go slow, they're very defensive, and their defense technique is to literally just drop to the ground. They see you, they know you're coming, and so you got to be slow and gentle to sneak up on them. But as soon as they drop in there, done. They're dead. I mean, kills them within a couple of seconds. Let's see if we can find a June bug on one of our trees. Fortunately, we've kept them off our peach trees so far.
They're flying.
Yep, they're starting to fly. I want to see if I can find one that is on the leaf. Maybe over here, honey. Let's go over to the...
Go to the patio peach.
Yeah, this is a little lady.
Oh, there's a big one up there.
A big one up there. Sometimes you can get this. Oh, here's one right here. Come in here behind me. And you see it right there?
Yep, I see.
All right, so these are harder to get because these guys like have better vision and they pay attention a little bit better. But you can do the same thing. I got it, and it's crawling around there. It's fighting it. It doesn't like it. But let's go out this way. Watch your stuff there.
I am. I got like
no, I don't see
9 or 10 of these June bugs last night off of that patio peach.
Yeah, we did pretty good on it. How about this apple?
There wasn't many on the apple. Oh, we gotta turn the panel.
All right,
oh, look, our girls are flying this morning.
They're flying pretty good, aren't they?
Look at that.
Let's kick that around.
Jeez.
Oh, here's a bunch more. Come around this way.
Oh, yes.
You see there? So I'll just take, boom, boom. They drop right in. So you got to be careful to get underneath them. Right here's two more. This could be
interesting.
Challenging. There, see? Right in there.
Yep, and then there's one right up there.
All right, let's see if I can't.
It'll drop.
Yeah. Oh, I lost 3 or 4 more.
Yeah, I see that.
Okay, so they're all on this loop. Right into my face. All right, so you get the point. You get the point. Let's go on back up to the deck. Let's talk about the other stuff. You can get quite a cocktail mixed up. There's a big June bug there.
Oh yeah. Up on that elderberry. Our elderberries. Look at that. Yum.
Get a zoom in here. Look at the amount of them. I mean, huge amounts of them. We've probably killed 400, 500, 600 of them. We've gotten a lot of them. So let's talk about, this is the best approach for those guys. They make traps. You can buy traps. We've played around with it, but there's nothing beating you spending a few minutes just to go around and collect them. And if you're slow and careful, you can clean them out. We've done pretty good on it. The Japanese beetle population here is substantially lower. Now you have, what is it, about 2-3 weeks in the midsummer where they all emerge.
June through July, sometimes to August is when we see them.
So if you can get that first wave of them that hatch out, that emerge from the ground, you can save a lot of damage to your fruit trees and stuff from it. And we've done pretty good. I think, this is you got to take the same approach as we do with the weeds and grasses. We try very hard not to let the weeds and grasses put their seed back. So so when you do your gardening and you're trying to grow, you want to make sure that you keep the weeds down before they get a chance to reseed themselves, because one grass seed can produce thousands of grass seeds, and if you spread it around with the tiller, that's the objective, is to reduce the population before they get a chance to really mate, which means you stay on top of your garden. Let's talk about spraying. So most of us have a garden sprayer, and they're used for applications of the chemical nature too, but we don't want to do that because we want to eat what we have. Let's talk about what I've used, and they're all natural products. Some work better than others on different bugs. The big issue that we had a few weeks ago, where we got the comment that said, please, I don't remember who it was, please let us know how it works, was on using this recipe. So I just picked a piece of our peppermint, and we got a bunch of it growing over there. And so what we did was I took a whole bunch of this, put it in the blender with water, and just blended it into a puree. Strained it off with a wire screen strainer into some water, and I bought one of these. We don't eat this. I don't eat this stuff. Some of you may like it. You want as hot a sauce as you can get, because what you're looking for is a capsaicin. So there's two kinds of things that certain bugs don't like. Mint is a huge one. Most bugs don't like mint, and a lot of bugs don't like peppers, especially the capsaicin. So I've actually done a couple of mixes where I put about that much of it. So a good handful of peppermint blended and strained, and about that much of the bottle mixed into one gallon for the sprayer. That did real well on ending all the cutter worms. So the cutter worms affect your squash, all your squash out there, and they're very, very horribly destructive to the plant, because they'll go right in at the base of the root, where the root goes in the ground, and they'll go right in and they'll just eat their way up into the center of the vine, thus destroying the whole vine. It's not like some of the others will eat the leaves and stuff. These will kill the plants completely. They only come out at night. I've never personally seen one. I only see the damage in the morning afterwards. Well, we had a few weeks ago. Let's walk over here. Whew. Getting hot quick this morning. We don't even have the leftovers. We've actually gone ahead and put in some sweet potatoes in a couple holes. But I was showing you that there were places where the vines were just completely dying. And somewhere along the lines, the cutter worms are getting along into the ground and into the vine, and it was just wiping out my plants. We mixed up that batch. We sprayed one time with the peppermint, the pepper blended in with the capsaicin of the hot sauce into that jug. It was kind of nasty looking and smelling, but we sprayed the base of the vine down at the very bottom, where it was originally where the seed came out. We sprayed this whole area with it, and no cutter worms since. Now, is that because it got killed, or that was a deterrent? Because we haven't sprayed and it's been a few weeks and we haven't had an issue. So I don't know if the scientific test is fully thorough, but I would say it, those are the results. The other thing that we want to use, or that we use a lot of, is that neem oil. And let's talk about the neem oil. We have read repeatedly in several places that neem oil is essentially death to all insects that get it on them. And so we've been using that in multiple applications, and some things it works good on instantly, like the squash bugs. When you spray them, what happens?
They just kind of flop over and
Die.
don't move.
They die. The cucumber beetles, and let me show you the cucumber beetles. Oh, there's a girl.
Mm-hmm.
All right. See, all right. So let me the catch-22 with the neem oil is you know the cucumber beetles really like to get into the flowers, as you can see that, but so do our bees. So the question is, if we spray our flowers and spray our plants for the cucumber beetles, and this is loaded. I mean, they're everywhere. Do we want to kill our bees? It's kind of a what do you do?
So you got to wait till nighttime when they are all in.
Exactly, because you don't want to spray them. But these will die once they're sprayed. But you want to be careful as to where and when you spray them. Now, the neem oil does work well on knocking these jokers back, even though we haven't had the time to keep spraying them. The one thing that we do continue to spray on a regular basis is not so much these, because these squash tend to kind of grow out of the eating that gets done on them. They can kind of outgrow and outfight the cucumber beetles. The cucumber beetles like the most tender, best parts of the plant. So they'll go for, when the seedlings pop up, they'll go for those first two leaves, which are the seed pod leaves, because those are high in nutrition. They go for the pollen, because the pollen is extraordinarily high in nutrition. That's why the bees love them. And then they'll also go for, if you see, say, look at this vine. You can see how badly these leaves have been eaten up. This is the cucumber beetles that have done it. And then we sprayed a few days back and killed off a bunch of them. And then the vine was able to recuperate. And as you can see, the leaves aren't ate up as bad. And the vine has kind of continued to handle it. They're still out here. Once a leaf gets fully developed, so these leaves were only small like this when they got ate up, so they've kind of grown out of it. Once they get bigger, the cucumber beetles don't tend to eat them too bad. So it's a little challenging to deal with them, but we don't fight on something that's not as big an issue. Like, there's still a lot of them. The big question would be to try and figure out where the cucumber beetles are laying their eggs in the larvae, where all that's going out in the ground, and there's just too much area for dealing with that issue to be of concern. What I want to do is immediately stop them from damaging my food. And right now, even though the cucumber beetles are in there eating the pollen, in the end, they're actually fertilizing some of the flowers now, or pollinating, I should say. They're pollinating the flowers. So it doesn't, it's not as big as the issue. The bigger issue is the brassicas, and let's talk about them. Let's go over to the brassica area. We gotta let him out.
Yes.
This is a perfect example. What is our cabbage here?
That's the Velocio cabbage.
Velocity cabbage. All right, so if you look down in here, and this is probably time to hit it again. As you can see, these outer leaves were eaten pretty badly by the cabbage worms, or the cabbage moth worms, and here we got some new growth. We got a rain the last couple of days. We got about 3/4 of an inch of rain, so we had a burst of growth in all our brassicas out here. You can even see in the cabbage where the outer leaves had been nibbled on. One of the things that the cabbage worms like is the, I'm going to step over in the shade. Come on, come on. Into the shade. So one of the things, step over here, there. How's the lighting now? Better?
Yeah, I could see you just fine.
I'm sweating.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that the cabbage moth worms like, just like the beetles, is the most tenderest part. So that once the eggs are laid on the outer leaves, those worms will tend to move inside to the most tenderest leaves, and they'll eat out the core of the plant, which will significantly stifle the plant. Now, these plants don't grow fast enough like the squash do to grow away from what's being damaged. They have to, they take their time, and they're a little bit slower growing. So this is where our application of the neem oil is the most frequent and the most necessary. You can look across here and you see, even though we've been spraying, you know, this basically is a bad time of year for almost all the brassicas. So once you get the leaf sprayed, we tend not to have an issue. You gonna sneeze?
No, I'm good.
We tend not to have an issue with it too badly, because it does leave an oil coat on it. So let's talk about the mixture. So with that 1 gallon sprayer, what's the recipe?
I use 4 tablespoons of neem oil, 4 teaspoons of neem oil, 3 teaspoons of soap, detergent soap, dish soap,
detergent, and hot water.
And then warm water.
Warm to hot water. And what that does is the surfactant helps emulsify the oils and suspends the oils, so you shake it up real good and then spray it on, so that when the soap water dries off, essentially the oil's there to stay and coat the leaf. Well, what we found out is it does a really good job. And what T will do this the most of the time is go around and spray everything, all the brassicas, and it pretty much kills it. You know, when she sprays the worms, she'll see the worms and she'll spray it, and it kills them instantly. I mean, you can see them wriggling, and then they're dead. You know, they're dead. It was pretty quick. But you got a problem. Mama moth comes back in a couple of days and lays new eggs. So it's something that she's had to stay on repeatedly for continuing to spray the core new leaves of all the brassicas. And you can see the difference. Once you get it sprayed and it has some rain, it tends to grow, but you got to get back and do it. So it's a little labor intensive, because you probably sprayed these things 5 or 6 times at least.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah, I just sprayed yesterday before.
And, yeah, because we just got rain a couple days ago.
Yep, so I had to reapply, because you don't want to spray 24 or the day you're going to get rain or whatever, because it ain't going to do you good. You want to do it.
Could wash off.
It'll wash off. You want to do it after the rain or when you don't see rain in the forecast.
Exactly.
And you want to do it early morning or late evening, because the oil will kill the leaves if you have direct hot sun.
Yeah, it's a prismatic effect that it does to the leaves. Now, we haven't had any issues with that aspect.
No, because I usually do it early enough in the morning before the sun's too high in the sky.
Yeah, we follow the directions. So, the other pest we'll throw in there is the hornworm that gets to our tomatoes. And
we just pluck those and go right to the birds.
Quite honestly, we'll notice like where
they've pooped.
You can see the poops. Let's see if we can find some.
They'd be over here at the there. I haven't seen any on the early girls.
There's some here. This leaf has been eaten. This leaf has been eaten.
That's just
and there are some black
recent.
Poops. Yeah, this is new. This is new. So let's look at it. There's some black poops here, and here.
Because that wasn't there.
And look, right here, see? There's 2 big poops on there. So there's got to be a worm right here. Let's see if we can find it.
They like to, and they're hard to see because they'll go under the leaf and they'll hang on the branches, and they're hard to see.
And they look just like the leaf. I don't see it.
I don't see it either.
There's one here. Because this is fresh. This is recent. This is new. Because usually you'll come over and you'll see a whole stem is completely like this. Let's go over here and show them this. this stem right here. See, like this right here? See, all of these leaves have been just mowed down. They've been really eaten up.
This is the worst one.
Yeah, that one about killed the whole plant.
But I
And there's
haven't.
another one. There's got to be another one right here too. Look at this. This is all eaten up. Big old green hormones. They all go to the chickens. Chickens get to eat them all.
Yep.
And that's the easiest way. I know it's a lot of hands-on work, but you know,
That's the easiest way to
what's
get
the
rid
value of your health? What's the value of the food that you want? How much time do you invest in it? If you're not doing a job, you know, 8 hours a day. 40
Well,
hours.
anybody you even look at online, the tomato hornworms, they hand pick them, and if they've got the chickens or turkeys, they give them to them, or they dispose of them another way. They all hand pick them. Because
Well, we don't want to spray them. That's it.
yeah,
So, neem oil, really good for certain things. There's a combination of, we have tried the mint and the hot sauce with some neem oil, and that was really impactful on the squash there for about a week or two before the heavy rain came in, or not heavy, the rain came in, and then we had a really good growth spurt. That helped. When it was dry, the squash weren't growing, so the beetles and everything were really having a field day on them, and we got to clean them up pretty good. So anyway, how far are we on this?
we're at 26:40.
Oh, that's a long video. All right, a lot of information, a lot of good information. You know, keep up the battle against the stuff that's coming after your dinner. I do want to say that I've got another video going up today at the same time as this one will on my Heritage Homestead Creations channel. I'll leave a link in the description for that. We had a blast sawing another enormous, giant 1,700 pound oak log. It was a fun couple of days that we spent doing that. That was the biggest log we've done so far. That's huge. It was 18 inches on one end and 26 on the other. Go check that out. It was a lot of fun, a lot to learn, and I think that's all the updates we got. You know.
Yep.
Anything else?
I can't think of anything.
Can't think. Well, I can think of a lot of things, but 26 minutes. That's good. We'll say goodbye. Y'all have a good crazy gardening year.
Yep.
And we'll talk to you all on the comments. Take care.